Good evening. Are we on the internet? Yeah. We are on the internet. Woo. Good evening and welcome to the first Talks Machina of 2017. I am your host, Brian Wayne Foster, and tonight we will be discussing all things Thordak and more. Maybe less, depending on how long we stay online. With my special guests for the evening, Travis Willingham, Liam O'Brien, and Matthew Mercer. Hit it, Denise! Welcome to the first and last show of 2107. How is everybody? Sober for the first time in a month. Speaking only for Travis.
It's true. Been drunk on that eggnog, y'all.
Oh.
Not sober.
It's guys' night.
It is.
It's guys' night in.
Yeah.
We can fart. We can.
About time men in the entertainment industry got time to speak up.
Yeah. God. Don't hold us down.
That's horrible.
How was the holidays for everyone?
Relaxing.
Quiet.
Somewhat.
Quiet, yeah.
Parents were in. I
Mine?
got the in-laws,
Oh, yeah.
which were sweet.
Parents were in.
The parents were in
Parents
too?
were in.
Yeah.
Got Marisha's future in-laws.
Do they get along? I'm just kidding.
Y'all get married?
You didn't hear?
What?
He announced it on this show.
Oh,
They're
shit,
engaged.
I
I
yeah,
don't
sorry
really pay
about that.
attention to this.
Ceremony will be on this show as well. Officiated by, right?
Oh,
We're
by-
still working through some
by
of the
Thordak?
paperwork.
Yeah.
Officiated by Thordak.
yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be voiced by Gilbert Gottfried.
That's how I always envisioned it.
Yeah, that's my headcanon.
Yeah. This is. If people thought the quality of the show was going to increase with the
No.
new year, they're
No.
wrong. They're wrong.
Mhm.
We got a lot of questions to get through tonight.
Okay.
So, screw it. Let's just throw them all away. No, I'm kidding. First question comes from Rumpelsmoothskin.
Oh!
Is it really?
Rumple smooth skin.
No question. Just wanted to wish Denise Merry Christmas.
Hey,
Merry Christmas,
Denise!
Denise.
Good holiday love.
Mm.
Amazing.
Hashtag, if you're reading this, Denise, we are here for you. Hashtag free Denise.
No.
Blink twice.
Laura Thompson asked, did you do anything special to celebrate the death of 2016?
No? I don't think so.
I continued work on my underground bunker.
There you go.
Got another 2 feet down. Not ready yet, but I'm optimistic.
It's now 2 feet deep, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Or you got another 2 feet down?
Yeah, another 2 feet.
So a total of 3.
Yes.
He's doing it with a spoon.
So right now, if
Really
something goes
arduous.
down, you could fit one kid in there.
Just
and then-
me. Just me, man.
Oh, just you.
me.
It is male adult human size.
Yep.
All the tinfoil.
Should have packed the cans on the other end.
Tell your mother I love her.
Yeah. Shouldn't have eaten all the beans before I got into the bunker.
They never tell you about that when you're building one.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't on, what's the show where the people prepare for the apocalypse like crazy?
Doomsday Preppers.
Doomsday Preppers.
Not that anybody watched
That's a
that.
show?
Dude,
I want to
what?
see this show.
It's so great.
I want to watch it.
Yeah, I've
Great.
never
People
heard of it.
like build crazy elaborate bunkers.
I
and
probably
stuff.
know like 2 people that are on that show.
Probably do.
You
Probably.
probably do. Taliesin,
You and
Taliesin
Taliesin.
knows the other half. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He owns like a spider box with Al.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play old timeshare.
Talison's executive producer.
Timeshare.
I was just gonna say, Talison's aunt is probably like, oh, she's the consultant for that.
right. Oh my God.
Also, like some human taxidermy show too, probably.
Largely stayed off the internet for the holiday. It was nice.
Did you?
Oh, you did? Did you Did you unplug, Matt?
No. Next
My
question.
favorite. Hold on.
Important to do that
My
once in a while.
favorite. Let's just. I know you guys can appreciate this. My favorite is when someone does a post saying they're going to take a break, and it's like this big long thing, and I'm always like, You'll be back in
Yeah,
like 2 days. You can't resist this shit like the rest of us.
So glad to be back. Oh man, what a detox period.
Yeah.
The second Stephanie
38
gets to
hours.
brunch, we're gonna hear about it.
We'll say it was really nice to kind of come back to my email yesterday and be like, oh, okay, what did I miss? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, it's never again.
You just do the mass deletion.
You forgot to
like
pay his
select,
bills.
select, select,
Yeah, I'm
select,
just like,
select,
I don't want to deal with the
Yeah.
AT&T. pff,
They'll email
Iris,
again.
Iris.
Third warning.
Yeah. Final note.
Yeah, full notice. Meh. It's fine.
All right. Travis,
select. Yeah.
Fedikin wants to know.
Fedikin?
Fedikin?
Fedikin!
FedYkin.
Okay.
Fedikin.
Can't spell it. It's like, give me your phone number. I lose it after the first 2 numbers. I'm like, 35. I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's about
Circle.
as good at math as Grog is.
Yep.
To Travis, it says to Travis like a Christmas present. To Travis,
Two Travis.
are you a part of any fantasy football leagues? If yes, how did you do this season?
2, 1, 2.
And was your wife Laura also?
She was the second worst team in our family league. Although
Family.
she is a former champion, the Stinky Unicorns is the name of her team.
Family league?
Yeah, it's a family league. Like my uncle, my cousin, Laura, cousin's wife. She has her logo is a unicorn farting rainbows. It's amazing. Stinky Unicorn.
What level is everybody?
My team, Moose Knuckles, won the Super Bowl.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
Oh, yeah.
I
Level?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm maxed out, Matt.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
I'm a god
I
killer.
can understand it now.
I'm only hearing ukulele music. I don't hear
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
you're saying.
Numbers.
now?
this
and
is what
sports ball.
this is what
Okay.
Liam hears in his head right now. Oh, never mind. It's
Yeah,
not
that
loud.
was a terrible cue.
Fucking
That was
Glenn.
just like
Glenn designed this app.
stale fish. That was,
Just kidding. We love
Did
Sirenscape.
it-
Thank you guys
Sirenscape's
for
awesome.
letting
Did
us
it sound
play.
like? Did it sound like crippling doubt?
It's yeah. It sounded like crippling doubt and echoing through the pit of despair.
Got it.
The chambers of the pit of
That's so
despair.
quiet.
I mistakenly thought that Laura also won, and that's why I mentioned how did Laura do, and now I can hear my phone vibrating next to me that she's
Yep.
texting me going like,
I
"You
fear for
douche."
your life the next 48 hours.
Congrats to Travis for winning his fantasy football
Both
leagues.
of those.
Both of
Thank you.
his. He won $100 to spend alone. The mediocre reader wants to know. Aren't these great?
Are you sure it's not okra reader?
The mediocre reader wants to know, on a scale of 9 to 10,
9 to 10?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
how much do you want a body switching episode now? Or maybe just a pub crawl after the Thordak battle.
Oh, that was a double sigh. I sighed in tandem with you. It was like getting the hiccups. That was amazing.
Oh, twins.
Those
Somebody
are the
will
kind of
replay
moments
it.
people expect out of the show in the new year.
That got me all tingly.
Pub crawl? I would take a pub crawl in or out of game on Thursday, gladly over whatever the hell
We
is
could
going
skip
to
the
happen.
show and make
Oh.
that happen.
Would the body switching episode be randomly assigned, or do we have to choose?
Roll. I'm guessing.
Sure.
Are there body switching? I almost
This,
said body
this has
snatching.
been a request for
Yeah.
so long from the community.
We talk about it occasionally
Yeah.
too.
I don't know if it ever works in the narrative. I mean, body switching episode could be like just code for a fun, lighthearted episode. I think once this, which battle's not over yet for the record. Once this all comes to completion and everyone can tend to take a breath, whoever's left, then I think will be a good time for a light
Why would you
episode.
phrase it like that? We're fine.
Whoever's left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an egg party. We're just gonna like raise the 5 little alchemic elemental dragons and ride off into the sunset, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
If I could switch bodies with anyone, it'd be Travis, so then I could know what it's like to change a tire.
I have done that a few times successfully.
Yeah, not me. I have to call the guy. I call my guy from AA.
Hey, I think
He keeps showing up and going, I can't change your tire, man.
that's not what
you're
this
doing.
is.
You took the wrong card out of your wallet and called the number on the back. My name's Steve.
Third time this month, Brian.
I know. Olindo Allo asks, Travis,
Orlando Allo.
what's more, Liam's gonna be so mad at this question. What's more nerve-wracking for you? The Thordak fight or having high expectations for the Cowboys in the playoffs?
Oh man.
Cue
Oh, man.
narcolepsy.
There he goes. There he goes. Well, Brian, it's a fairly complex answer to the question that you
We've got all the time in the world. We started at 7:00 tonight.
I am more worried about the Cowboys because I have faith in our ability as a party.
A party?
I thought we were going to do, I thought, and we did well, I think, against Thordak. Now seeing where we left it off, I'm like,
hear him stutter.
I wasn't quite as ready to jump right in, but I think we'll do well. We're not tapped. We're not tapped. We're semi-tapped, but we're okay. I'm not as confident about as where we left it as I was when we started against Thordak.
Does it
And
feel
the
like a
Cowboys,
month
I had no
ago?
idea.
Feels like a month ago.
It was practically 3 weeks ago.
Well, I guess that explains it.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
It will have been 3 weeks.
Passage of time is weird.
I know. Not linear.
Not a fan.
I can't believe how much time I
like an
spent
arrow.
Flat circle.
Arby's in the past 3 weeks. Were you done?
Yep.
Bryce. Bryce wants to know, it's very close to a good name. Bryce wants to know, my question is to Liam and Travis. What was your first reaction / instinct when Matthew he used your full name,
Oh.
pulled out the gigantic flipping dragon miniature Thordak?
Yeah.
What was your first reaction / instinct when you saw this? Not on our beautiful set, standing on top of whatever the hell this is, but when he brought it out onto the map and you could see in, I'm adding a lot to Bryce's question here because
Yeah.
I found it to be flat and uninteresting.
Oh.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Bryce Barnhill, thank you for watching. Thank you for submitting your, I'm totally kidding.
It was a bunch of expletives, wasn't it? The
I
reaction?
thought
There
that there
was
was no place to hide on. I felt like he could reach every corner of the map. So it almost didn't matter where you were.
Yeah, I
could've,
asked if it was to scale. I was like, well, that's obviously an exaggerated figure. It's not meant to be relative to our minis that are the size of his toe.
Yeah, you could fit 2 minis in his
But
mouth.
if you watched every single appearance that Matt has made on this show, he said that it's to scale.
Yeah, I don't.
So
pay
this goes back to
attention.
the thing about he doesn't watch.
Yeah, I don't.
He
I
doesn't
don't-
watch the
I'm not
show.
even remembering this right now.
I'm so bored.
Thank you for your question, Peter.
His name was Bryce.
Your name though is
Glenn.
not
No,
good.
my real name. Charlie wants to know, what do you guys listen to when you prep for a game session? And Matt was there. Did Thordak have a theme song?
Thordak did, actually. I mean, when I prepare for games...
Sometimes when we touch, the honesty is too much.
Well, Lionel Richie, to be honest.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hello? Hello?
It's just that for on loop.
Yeah.
No, I listen to, I have a number of video game soundtracks I listen to when preparing for sessions, a lot of like Dark Souls and like there's a really great Chrono Trigger Symphony, like 3 album set that I listen to a bunch, which is pretty good just writing music for me.
The soundtrack to Earthworm Jim?
What are you talking about?
No, but I could be. Those are good tracks.
Yeah.
But for Thordak, I actually listened to a bunch of Firelands music from World of Warcraft, which I actually incorporated. I got permission to use in that final
Yeah.
battle, so I just listened to those tracks on loop while prepping the layout of the field and the encounter circumstance. So that was definitely.
Are you a headphone or like an open speaker?
I'm an open speaker guy.
Okay.
My monitor's going, so
Nice.
I force my taste on everyone else around me.
Yeah.
You have no
do you
choice.
game with headphones on?
Generally no.
Do you do VO with headphones on? Are you one of those people in the booth who doesn't like to have the headphones on? You just like to do it free ear?
I can
Is
go
that a
either
word?
way.
Is free ear? Do we do that?
Yeah.
Do we say that?
Depends.
I guess we are now.
It doesn't bother me too much.
Do you do one
Stupid
headphone
term.
like Mariah Carey? Ooh, too soon. Too soon, Denise. I apologize. It's a touchy subject around the office.
Oh, understood.
That
Mariah
track,
Carey's
boy.
downfall. Let's move on. Black Dire Bear wants to know.
Yes.
The names are the best part.
We
Yeah.
saw how everyone reacted when Matt said roll initiative with Thordak.
Mhm.
But how excited was he for this?
Oh, me? So excited. It's interesting. Like this is a battle that's been kind of built up for a long time, and it's been essentially a year of Vox Machina preparing for this encounter. And on one hand, it's like, you know, it's a powerful creature, but as the heroes who've spent their entire time bending their will towards being prepared for this fight, I kind of designed it to be as balanced as I could in that regard too. And I just to get to that moment, to have the battlefield set up, to have their reactions, to put that on the field, and to start off after all that, many years of planning. Technically, it was pretty cool. I was really excited.
Yeah.
It really felt like the end of a road.
So now we've come to the end of the road, and I can't let go.
No?
Last night we were singing Gangster's Paradise.
I know, I'm just saying. We were taking
You
it
guys
back
are
to
nerds,
the old
man.
school.
No,
You guys are nerds.
understood. If we get any more like Boys to Men Motown in here, I'm not gonna be able to hold back.
Oh, I know.
So please.
You're trying really hard.
I'm trying
right?
real hard, man.
I get it. Okay. Your feet are just like, you just want to dance and sing.
Like River Runs Dry? No, don't.
We've seen the
don't.
karaoke.
That was a long time. That was a long time coming. That Thordak battle was a long time coming.
Thank you, Brian.
James asks, he didn't provide a last name, but it's probably, let's see,
For the best.
Black Dire Bear, Mediocre Reader, James the Lazy Cow.
Cool.
He says, just because his avatar looks like a cow, could the party have encountered Thordak in the fire plane if they hadn't hidden so well?
They could have. That would have been an example of a battle that you want to run from. That would have been an escape scenario. That could have gone very poorly. I think as a DM, you want to make sure that not every encounter can be surmounted, and there is good. It's a good planning circumstance to either get intel on a creature or have an encounter that you have to flee from and then prepare for and come back later. It's part of like a small heroic journey in its own right. So I prepared it that regard, but they hid well enough and he didn't pick up on them. So
It felt like that when the dragons hit Iman. Like we tried a little bit with Vor, and we were like, poke, 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 nope, go, go.
Yep.
Yeah, he did one attack, right? And it was like 69 points of damage or whatever. And we were like,
I'll never
going this way.
Well,
going this
when
way.
Grog turns around
Grog.
and starts fleeing, that's when
Yeah.
you know shit's hit the fan.
I was like,
I'll never forget that moment. Seeing your face, like, okay, we're run, we're out. And I was like,
yeah, gotta go.
it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
First smart thing he ever did. The Netherland, the Nether Lad.
Ah.
That's a good
Nether lad.
The Nether Lad. To Liam. The showdown with Thordak was one of the most emotional moments of the last episode, maybe even the whole series. I'm just kidding. How much of that, how do you want to do this, was Vax, and how much of it was Liam taking revenge for Vax/Vex's mother? Don't act surprised. I started with the
Yeah, no, I know, but I don't want to. I don't know how to not sound like an asshole like this. I felt like time stopped. I was thinking about so many things in that 5 seconds. I thought about every conversation that Laura and I had had sort of building the story. I thought about how that story initially was just like, it was supposed to be like, oh, our mom died in a car wreck. Our mom died at a dragon, killed her mom. And I thought about how you made it so much
the dragon was
more than
driving
that.
the car?
Yeah. mhm.
Yeah.
The holidays are dangerous. Man.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not going to delve here, but I mean, I had a hard year, and I thought about my own mother. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's D&D is cheaper than therapy.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Not if you collect dice like Laura does.
This is also true.
Touchy subject, okay.
My bad. Laura, if you're watching, some of us love you.
half the time this game is a total fuckabout and hilarious, but we managed. This guy manages to weave our real lives in subtle ways, and it was extremely meaningful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Martin Kosovsky,
Nice job.
thank you. Was the red he asks, was the red dragon that slew Vax/Vex's, I hate this job. Can we, if we roll new people, can he be like Bob and then she could be like Carol?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Bob and Carol.
Bob and Carol.
So it was written. So it'll be done.
When the red dragon that slew Bob and Carol's mother, was it a convenient connection for Thordak, or was it pre-planned that Thordak was going to slay their mother?
I mean, when they wrote their story,
A lot of people asked about this.
when they wrote their story when we first started the campaign, I hadn't developed the conclave. But part of the things I try and do as a dungeon master or game master is if the players give me, story threads about their history to have the player be more connected and more invested in the story, you take pieces and weave it into your tale. You don't have to make it all about it per se, but they gave me so many fun pieces to work with through the years. It's how I was able to bring in the Briarwoods as a main villain. And when I've always wanted to have large-scale dragon combat and never really had a campaign where the players got high enough level where I could do that. And I already had these minis as a collection, so it was like I wanted to build this conclave arc, and I've always wanted the Thordak, or this mini for so long. I was like, eventually I want to get to that point. And then when I was thinking about developing the conclave, I remembered that they had said that their mother was killed when a dragon came and destroyed the town, and I was like, well, that is a very convenient narrative point for me to tie it in. So, not from the very beginning, but as you develop your story going forward as a game master, you find those threads and piece them together and let them eventually reveal themselves naturally.
It was, I mean, it's hard to describe. Like back when we started the game, we talked, Laura and I talked about how we really wanted it to just be sort of like a, she died when we were young. It was like an earthquake happening. Yeah. We're not going to dwell on it. Not a big thing. And my life was real simple when we started the game, and it is different now. And
he's on the run from the law.
Yeah. This isn't live, is it?
Cops were here earlier, but only to take Jimmy out.
So it's been fascinating to watch how you evolved it.
It is a trip, like taking our backstories and.
Are you guys gonna kiss?
Do you want us to?
I'm not saying I do.
Happy New Year.
I'm not saying a lot of people are asking for it.
I'll sing Dirty Dancing if y'all kiss. Now,
You would do it anyway.
Yeah, because nothing's.
time of my love.
This is the karaoke episode.
It is.
It's
We
now
don't pay
deemed.
royalties for this, do we?
A lot of people ask how I keep track of how I keep the reins on this show. Jesse Bishop.
Dry take.
Jesse Bishop asks, did I read this already? No. How did Vax feel being the one who dealt the final blow to the creature that killed his mother after so many years? How did it feel?
I didn't feel like I was going to get it or deserve it. I mean, like, that's why I threw in the line at one point that my friends are going to kill you, because I just thought mathematically someone else is going to do it.
Right.
So it was, again, same C above answer.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to happen either. It was one of those things where there was a certain point in the battle where Thordak was going to back into his lair when he reached a certain hit point threshold to kind of bring him into more of his, a domain where he had even more control and ease. But once he hit that hit point threshold, there was still so much of the round left, and you guys were getting criticals, and you were like just doing so much damage. I was like, I don't know if he's going to even survive to get back in there. And so as soon as I pulled him out, and he has extensive movement, he could get far into the cavern. I was like, cool, they're gonna have to go chase him in there. And then I forgot about our little hasted flying
Sparrow.
little intense rogue. And so by the time you got there and just the damage, I was like, yeah, that's it. That's enough.
And
he's gonna die halfway through the cavern.
And I love that Vex shattered the rock on the bling on his chest. It just felt like we did it together.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't remember that. Yeah.
You couldn't keep track of everything that happened? Good God.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Fucking
Watch
amateur.
DM tips on Geek and Sundry. First, only me would do a plug and an insult at the same time.
That's impressive.
good, yeah.
That's later, man.
Get good.
I'm sorry.
That's why they pay me. Pedro De Lara asks,
Hi, Pedro.
Mr. Mercer,
Yes.
this one's for you.
Okay.
In the battle against Thordak, this one's really long, so I'm going to get through it like the Micro Machines guy.
Okay.
That's one for the millennials.
Continue, please.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I can see his mustache right now.
He was on Oprah one time, and Oprah made
so
him
many
like,
commercials.
sight
So
read
many.
to
Yeah.
prove that he was
Everywhere.
like legit,
Oh,
He was on an episode of Saved by the Bell. Anyway, continue.
Micro Machines
He was on
guy.
an episode
How
of
did
Saved by
that
the
even
Bell.
pop up?
You know what, man?
That is impressive.
My body
man,
is a
I
wonderland.
I directed him this last year on something, and he left, and the person I was working with was like, you know who that was, right? I was like, no, who? It's the Micro Mini Machines guy. I was like, oh,
Did he do? Did he do like in the booth, before, like, if you're looking over the mic stand at him from the control room, was he like, 1 sec? Like 5 times
Massive
right before
line.
you guys started, and then he's like,
Even better, I'm hoping, because you didn't know who he was, that the note you kept giving him the session was, all right, that's great, you do it one more time, but you slow it down.
yeah.
Just slow it a little more
Having
natural.
trouble
It
understanding.
actually was really rapid dialogue. It was.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Anyway, so back to the question.
Guys, Mr. Mercer, Mr. Mercer. In the battle against Thordak, you added more creatures to fight our heroes on top of the Cinder King himself. As a young dungeon master, I would like to ask you, how did you deem it safe for your players to add more enemies with a foe as big as Thordak? Is there a method you use to establish how many enemies is enough to keep an encounter balanced with both challenge and safety for the player characters?
That comes with experience. I mean, it's hard to gauge what your party's power level is until you've played with them for a bit, and then based on encounters that you may have created that you thought would be pretty challenging might go by much easier, and you're like, okay, knowing that, what is it that can make it more difficult? Is it just more creatures? Is it creatures that do more damage? Is it more pitfalls and environmental things? And so for this, the preset of kind of the fact that Thordak had assembled an army and it had kind of been occupying Iman with this army for so long, I already had a precedent to incorporate these creatures, though you bypassed a bunch of encounters of them getting to Thordak
Front gate and
anyway.
all that stuff.
So you guys got there at much kind of higher health and preparation than I was anticipating. But I just considered every single combat round, I had a preset for what would try and introduce itself. That involved the airship arriving. That involved the elementals, being birthed out of the cavern. That involved the fire giants arriving, or fire giant arriving. So this were all just counters that would happen as the battle progressed. So I mean, there is no mathematical number that I use. It's just kind of I feel out the challenge rating after working with the party for a while, and hope for the best.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad. I always wonder what triggers those things.
It can depend on what you guys have done. Like I'll change encounters based on what you've done leading up to it. There was a whole circumstance where as you guys were approaching the city, if you didn't arrive there immediately and the army's attacking, you went with the armies, Thordak was going to be alerted of your presence and then begin like fire strafing the city as you went through. And that was a whole different thing that was planned that possibly happened, which would have torn through the armies.
Would you have done
You guys
this?
saved a lot of lives by getting there early.
Would you have done this?
With those noises too, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
That
Wow.
wasn't bad for them and us.
Travis and Liam, Philip Page wants to know, was there ever a point during the fight that you thought you guys should probably run rather than fight?
Great name, Philip.
Not in the Thordak fight. I mean, I was willing to throw myself at him.
Yeah, me too.
Going into the next fight, not Vax, but Liam wanted to GTFO, which is different than what the character wanted to do. But no, I mean, I was happy with living or dying story-wise.
In fact, I got a lot of notes from a lot of you guys saying, by the way, if I die, this.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you guys are
Meaning
preparing.
this coming Thursday?
A lot of people did
meaning
that.
the Thordak fight.
Oh, meaning the Thordak fight. I
Yeah.
thought you
People are
meant this
giving you
Thursday.
like wills and stuff.
Like what things they may have left behind.
Man.
and stuff like that,
Y'all don't even know.
That was
What's
all
weird
Hamilton
is-
right there.
Man,
Sorry. I'm
I
sorry,
gotta
everybody.
prepare a will.
Sorry.
Okay. All right.
So. GR.
Right, it's just Grog teabagging a piece of parchment. That's all it is.
So it would be from my heart, my chicken heart.
Grog's will. You know what? Continue it. I think I know what Grog's will would say.
I've never heard that.
Chicken heart?
No, I've never heard that.
Either.
Oh man.
I feel so much
We
more
have much
culture
to
now.
teach him. We have so much to teach him.
I know.
Look, I spent most of my youth indoors writing dungeons for shit like this, so
Oh,
I didn't
man.
hear Chicken Heart before.
I'm about to enrich your life.
Oh, sure, okay.
I have a feeling Grog's will would just say, please clap. My
I
favorite
don't think
moment.
I'm inclined to ever run though. I mean, unless somebody's hurt, and then I'll pick up and run. Pick them up. and
Yeah,
run.
if it's just grog and your focus is just on your current experience there, like
That's
no,
also part of like rage though. Is there's not a lot of upper thought going on. It's just like
yeah,
Oh,
especially
lower
berserk,
thought.
yeah, seriously.
frenzied rage, yeah.
Yeah.
One rogue Kyle has a question. What were you gonna say?
Oh, it's not important. I was going to ask if I could see your Total Recall face.
Oh, yeah.
Aren't you glad we backed it up, Brian?
I could get like 8 chins out of this neck. At the
Denise,
end.
were we on Travis for that?
Good.
Perfect.
Do your
welcome.
magic, internet.
Man, live for 1,000 years.
I can't wait to go home and watch the Twitch chat from that moment. One rogue Kyle wants to know, will Vax's slaying of Thordak protect those he holds dear? Kiki, Vex, Sean. Will his slaying of Thordak, protecting those he holds dear, Kiki, Vex, Sean, give him a spark of optimism?
Hey, ask me that again next week.
I don't know. It was a very hard sentence to get out. I don't want to say it again. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
After Thursday, right?
things are not hopeful at the moment. I'm sure we're going to get into that. Yeah, I mean, he has a life that he'd like to have, but he doesn't. I mean, they're rebels, right? They're underdog rebellion standing up against evil with a capital E. So you're, you wager your life in that situation. So he would love to have a life afterwards, but I don't know. Ask me next week.
Yeah. Probably won't have you on the show, but we'll ask
Yeah.
you some other time. Sam wanted to be the only guest next week, regardless of what happens on Thursday night.
It'll
Makes
just
sense,
be
yeah.
Sam and an in memoriam clip
Box Machina.
segment.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We got plenty of music to do it for.
Yeah.
Let's give away some free shit.
Yeah. Free stuff.
Let's do it.
Each week, you critters send in tons of gifts you made from moments that happened Thursday nights on Critical Role. We like to reward you for it. It's time to give out our gift of the week. Is it back on me?
Amazing. Amazing.
New year, same old shit.
Yeah.
This week's winner was sent in by Brian Pelk. Let's take a look. What?
Oh, it's so good.
Shirtception.
It's so good.
Oh,
May it keep growing.
Shirtception.
Growing. and
Long may
growing.
you reign.
that man of mine.
That's so good.
Is it back on me, Denise? Okay.
How can you not love that face?
I think you're on.
Thanks to everyone who submitted this week, and congrats to you, Brian, for winning our Gift of the Week contest. You will be receiving this Critical Role mug designed by a forest creature named Matt Abernathy, along with some Critical Role pins. We got the
Yeah.
black and red CR one, which is dope, and we got a How Do You Want to
I
Do
Wanna
This?
Do This
Brian,
in
those
there.
are coming your way. Thank you so much for submitting our Gift of the Week. Congrats.
Nicely done.
Well done.
Nicely done. I don't know how they do that, going into the thing and then morphing it into the other picture, but man,
Wizardry.
if I could. Ooh,
Flashbacks.
no one told me about the icy feeling when he does that.
Oh, give it an hour.
The casting time.
Never mind. David Fox.
So proud of you. You made a D&D
I
spell
don't know what
joke.
happened, man.
Out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
that was.
Travis. You're one of us.
I won my fantasy football leagues, okay? I'm resisting. It's a slow decline, but I'm resisting.
We all float down here, Georgie.
I can't remember what that sweater reminds me of, but it's somebody's uncle.
Really?
David Fox wants to know, Matt,
Yes.
if you had ended up having to stage a larger scale battle, this one obviously wasn't very large, with the minions of Thordak, how would you have handled the large numbers of an enemy army on your side of the screen? Also, David says, CR is the inspiration for me becoming a DM for my friends, so thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. That
Hey.
makes me so happy. Large-scale combat is a difficult thing, and there are some rules that I think Unearthed Arcana put out for 5e that you can do minis representing groups of creatures, which is pretty cool if you're really into the strategic kind of large-scale, like your party's a general sending out an army to fight, and your players are really into that type of circumstance. I like to play it out narratively. You can use roles setting difficulties or versus rolls for each side with modifiers based on how powerful that side of the army is, and depending on how different the rolls are, you can just describe the narrative aspects of swaths of soldiers being, wiped down by the creeping horde of undead or whatever the case may be. So I tend to play it with very simple rolls, almost like a skill challenge to myself. And if the players want to, bring things in to try and change or modify those rolls, they can. So like, let's say if you guys went in with the armies against the city, I had things planned where you guys would be encountering waves of wyverns, number of other creatures with the army, in which case it would have been more of a, what do you bring to the table? Who wants to roll in here? Everyone make a saving throw. If you fail, you take this much damage, or half if you succeed. However, you also can make this roll as a group, and based on how well you made your rolls, you killed this many creatures, and then you move forward. So I made it more of a progressive skill challenge type circumstance if you decided to move in with the armies and kind of fight your way towards the center, and that's where the fire strafing would have come through and been really bad.
Like the group stealth checks that we do. So.
Kind of things like
Okay.
yeah. So that way it makes it easier for me to incorporate the narrative, cause and effect circumstances without tying it too much up with the math, and everyone watching me be like, all right, so 20 guys died here, so I take out 2 of the minis, and then these
Giant plastic bag of green army men. Shake it out. on
Mind
the
you,
floor.
that can be fun too, but for the purposes of our game and your guys' play style, I wanted to keep it more narrative, free flowing.
Travis has a lot of those Green Army men. When we met, he was playing with them under a bridge.
You were not supposed to tell people about that.
It's the internet, man.
What do
I
get
can
you
do
for
whatever I
Christmas
want.
next year?
This is my show
With the parachutes.
Yeah.
till Denise takes over. Farley says, Matt, that's another question for Matt.
I'm sorry.
How did it feel to roll so terribly for poor Gilmore versus Fire Breath during the battle?
That
Boy.
sucked. He, well, they only got four potions of fire resistance, and they took them all for themselves, those greedy sons of bitches. But no, I mean, but that's also kind of how it works. It's, an ancient red dragon on that scale. There's a lot of damage, and everyone's kind of arrived clustered, and as much as he tried to get away, it just made sense for Thordak to line it up the way he did, and it's rough going for Gilmore. He's got some licks in, but he's also, like, comparative to Vox Machina, you guys are basically beginning to outpower even the most powerful NPCs that have kind of guided you through your journey at this point. So, Gilmore technically is lower level than all of you guys.
No,
So-
surely not.
Disintegration.
No.
Yeah, he is.
He did the disintegration figure, right?
He did, yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. I assume that's the one you use whenever you
F
cast
you,
disintegration.
buddy.
But yeah, so and
Comes out
even
a
then, like,
fingernail.
I forgot one of the rules in the mix of it, and the roll should have done half damage, or should have been a saving throw as opposed to a melee attack roll. But it was fine. It worked to the same degree, and yeah, it's kind of rough for Gilmore, but he got a hit in there.
Plus, we got to see like what happened. Not that I ever want that to happen to Gilmore.
No, none of us were really
Gilmore.
hoping to see what would happen.
I kind of wanted.
Yeah.
Not that I
just
don't
for his
love the guy.
reaction,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He's gonna be fine. We got stem cell procedures. It's gonna be great.
Should.
Laura has enough gold to cover at least one of those.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, the rest are for hair plugs for Grog. Evil Brian asks, spelled with a Y, so it's intrinsically evil if they spell Brian with a Y.
Gotcha.
Evil Brian says, Liam and Travis, what were you thinking and or feeling when Scanlan chose not to use the flute during the Thordak battle? Were any of you, there's a lot of people in the building, especially behind the scenes here, who were going like,
Oh yeah. We were doing that. We were playing like all sorts of instruments.
this is the Kenny G,
Yeah.
this is the high school sweetheart.
I actually didn't care. Like, I wanted it to be personal with us. And I mean, if things were going rough, sure, but I wasn't thinking about the flute at all, except when Laura was putting her hands in my face doing the flute motion.
She was drying them off.
And now we still have it.
She just
That's the other
moisturized.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it is kind of a get out of jail free card. Or you could argue that if you use it in the beginning, then you're fresh for anything that comes after. But
Well, if we just stood there and let the dragon do stuff and we
yeah, like
do
Godzilla,
nothing.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
That's
Smart,
what Godzilla
smarter than all of us.
Why are you looking? Why'd you have that look just now?
What look? I was, what?
That question was not for you.
I know.
Jamon Saord, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would he have betrayed us, Matt? He, it, she, they?
What is the next question?
The next question is
John.
answer Travis's.
Yes.
Yeah, right? You had that look. You had
Well-
that look.
You probably can't give it away, right? You probably don't want to say more.
I'm not saying anything.
Jesus Christ.
just
I know.
just tell us everything, how it's going to happen in the order in which it's going to happen, with a focus on the end.
I'll send
Yeah.
you the script.
Okay.
Okay.
Some of the questions I
trouble
got
with
this
these
week were
lines.
like, if you could become this thing, what's the first thing you would kill, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, guys, chill on those, because if this stuff happens, you don't want it to be spoiled.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I would love it if one night, though, we just go, okay, so this Thursday I'm going to do this, and then this, and then this, and then Thursday just do all that stuff, and then see how boring it is. Glacial Gaffer
Ooh. Good
has a
name.
question for Matt. Have you ever had a guest player villain? What are your thoughts on the subject?
I mean, so far in your story, no. I've had. When I ran my 2-year Ravenloft campaign, I had 2 friends that came in for one session that came in as allies and turned out to be vampires working for Strahd and attacked the party, and the party had to kill him. And my friend Sean, my friend Vanessa, who was playing one of the vampires, after being slain or being held down, he basically staked her, propped her up against a gravestone, yanked her fangs out as a keepsake, and left her there for the sunrise. It was awesome.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that was Sean Manzano. He did not mess around with his
Wow.
his Indiana Jones like rogue. It was pretty rad.
Sounds like the first date I had with a Catholic girl.
Whoa! Whoa!
I'm one too, not a Catholic girl. Hold on.
Hold on. Just a minute.
Cardamon wants to know. Travis, this is what happens when we stay up till 4 in the morning
I know.
the night before a show trying to do VR. Liam,
Yeah.
given that he has slain his own object of personal vengeance so soon after taking it, and becoming a paladin at all for that matter, do you think Vax will have an easier or harder time navigating the divine tenets of his secret oath?
We haven't really talked about this, Matt and I, but I mean, I still see this as Vax doesn't, he's kind of winging it, and the Raven Queen has gone quiet lately so that other stuff could take the foreground, which I think is right and good. I mean, I think that the abilities, the mathematical game abilities that come with that track are just the manifestation of his new relationship with the Raven Queen. So I'm not thinking of him strictly as being about vengeance, although obviously Thordak was. I think he's more for right being done in the world, but he also knows at some point, if he survives the next hour, that the Raven Queen is probably at some point going to start giving him a to-do list. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. The tenets depends on how you run the game or how you create your paladin per se. But some paladins are very set in their respective belief systems and the moral code that they adhere to, and that's the classic D&D paladin too. But there are also more esoteric ways of taking it, and like the Path of Vengeance specifically, the Oath of Vengeance. What you consider is what good you bring to the world, or what law you bring to the world deals more with righting wrongs that have already been committed. You aren't the kind of guy that goes out and do charity. You're the kind of guy who goes and finds the guy that messed up the charity and makes him pay for what he did. And that's the way of making the world right. I'm curious to see what conversations arise when you have a chance to be more in touch with your patron. But yeah, you've definitely been on a set path driven since you multi-class into Paladin.
I like to, and again, this is the first time we've actually spoken about this, but I like to think that there's probably 10 other people, heroes, who would be like, I'm the perfect paladin for the Raven Queen. Why aren't I? And she's picked this shithead. Because that's what fate needs.
She's one of the patrons that kind of can do that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of patrons that are very lawful good, and people want to be their holy champion and through their deeds prove themselves worthy. Then there are some deities that choose an individual who's unsuspecting necessarily to become the beacon of their message, and that's kind of more the path you've taken with the Raven Queen. Circumstance put you in that realm, and you're trying to find your way through, and it's been kind of fun to watch that from my standpoint. I hope the audience as well, but yeah.
Some are downright patronizing.
Oh,
I didn't know any of that.
I need to wash that.
That paladin sounds great.
It's just lime juice.
It's a good paladin.
Continue.
Who's next?
Do it.
I'll show you where I keep it.
Oh, there we go.
Voltron 42 is back.
Love the name already.
Were there abilities that Thordak didn't get to use, like Kevdak in that fight?
There were abilities that, There are circumstantial things he didn't get a chance to use. Yes.
Circumstantial.
Yes, like when he was fleeing into his space.
Right.
Didn't get there. He did have a mild regeneration effect going on for as long as the crystal remained in his chest. So once the crystal was destroyed, it stopped that. I should have outlined it a little more, but I also had 8 million things on the table that I was concentrating on and trying to keep it flowing. And also
chicken nuggets. He had like 50 chicken nuggets back there
kept
with
eating
all the dipping sauces, and I'm like, this
crazy.
seems like a distraction. And he was like, no, man, just do a little bit.
brain food, Brian. It's brain food.
Castle walls made out of Happy Meal boxes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
His first DM screen was McDonald's Happy Meal boxes.
Yeah. And he had a radial heat damaging effect where if anybody started their turn within a proximity to him, they would take fire damage, but most everybody was getting in and out of the range
You got close.
rapidly. Grog did, but Grog.
Yeah, you got close.
But
at
you
one
took
point.
so little damage to that point with the resistance anyway. I think I mentioned it once or twice, and then it was like, this is negligible. Nobody's really doing anything about this. So yeah, I mean, there were a few things. And it's interesting. You know, every game is a lesson in its own right too. And as a dungeon master running such a large scale battle with such a large creature against so many combatants, I think there is merit in the future to consider adding more legendary actions even to a creature like that, so it can still kind of keep pace of like dishing out damage often along with the party, as opposed to just like everyone goes a couple of hits and then a burst of everything. I kind of like the idea of back and forth. So, you know, I learn lessons with every fight too, and I really enjoyed the fight, and I think it was a good example of a good challenge that you guys had spent a year preparing for, as opposed to just a complete TPK scenario, which is not what I wanted it to be necessarily. I wanted it to be a challenge. We'll see how this week goes.
Splitting the initiative was strange. Like coming to Thordak and Grog at the same time, and you'd be like, so. I was like, I go first. And then you were like, before you do. I'm like, ah!
Yeah, it's fun. That's just me messing with the players. It's
I
fun.
know, it's fun. It's good though. I was like, I start running before you do. No!
Yeah.
I'm just having fun reading these over here.
Barbecue.
Super Meow's back.
Super meow.
Hey.
That's fun.
Vax, any thoughts about changing Paladin oaths now that Thordak is no longer a threat and your mother avenged?
No.
Okay. Next question.
Good question.
Good.
Any more to that, or really that's it?
No,
Yeah.
I really just look at that as him getting stronger as a warrior for the queen. I definitely chose the one that I thought fit his headspace the most, but it's not. Again, I mean, I'm a story player, you know, opposite of a number cruncher, and I care about the specific relations between me and him, and me and her, and me and that person, and not like, how is it normally done? What's a rogue like in the player's handbook? I like what our story for its quirks and its unique threads.
Yeah, I get that. We got a question from someone named Raishan. Says,
That's
do we really
Rashawn, I
think
think.
that following me into the lair was a good idea? No one will be left to save Whitestone.
Dick.
I just want to know when Raishan has time to use Twitter.
I mean, and if
You
it's
get
anything
good signal
like,
down there below him on, actually. Yeah, Thordak destroyed everything but the router.
He's got fiber optic.
So, yeah.
Like 30 seconds in the ceiling. I mean, you and I know when you take somebody's phone and you have to act fast, you knock something out.
You might misspell a couple words,
Sure.
but you get it done.
I think we've all learned that tragic lesson, haven't we?
We have.
Me more recent than others. Should we give away some more free shit?
Let's do it. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
All right. In addition to giving out a prize for Gift of the Week, we also love to reward and highlight critters who spend time capturing moments from episodes of Critical Role via their fan art. It's time for Fan Art of the Week. Is it on me? Yes. This week's winning fan art is from Tita Tolvanen, and it is quite wonderful. Let's take a look.
Ooh.
Wow.
That is a
Dang.
Oh.
Wow.
Pretty sweet. That's a big dragon.
ridiculous.
Wow.
It's good. That's my perspective, guys. By the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to have someone capture it from my viewpoint.
Those little ants.
They kind of
Yep.
left off
Down
the
there.
small puddle of urine underneath me.
That wasn't urine.
When that came out. Right. That's true.
Tita is at YTOTI _ on Twitter. Thank you to everyone who submitted this week for creating our fan art of the week. Tita, you will be receiving this Wenge Dice Tower.
Oh, slick. Oh,
Denise, where's my camera?
That's beautiful.
This
Ooh.
Like moving the target. It's amazing.
Wenge
You can see 130 shoot
Dice
it down.
Tower from our friends at Wormwood Gaming.
Wormwood game.
Indeed.
Drop your dreams in here and watch them fall to the ground beneath you. Shout out to Wormwood for
a
providing
banner
our
light.
fan art and GIF of, just fan art.
Yeah.
Screw those guys. No, I love you guys. Thank you for the Christmas card. Check out Wormwood's website. Make sure to follow them on Twitter, Facebook, Tinder, and we'll be sending this out to you this week. Thank you so much for sending in your fan art. Don't forget, Thursday through Monday at 9 a.m., send in your gifts and fan art. Remember to email them to us, please, talksmachina@gmail.com. You have to email them in to be entered into the contest instead of just tweeting them. There's just too much art getting tweeted around a track, so please email us if you want to submit so we don't miss your art. Thank you so much. Tita, you won. You did it. A couple more questions before we move on to overtime. Alpi asks, technical question, the meteor swarm wasn't a surprise round, was it?
The meteor swarm was as they arrived. It was one of those things where as the party got in and got their bearings and kind of inspected the surroundings, that was the moment that Raishan took from a location where she was not spotted to unleash it. So I guess it would be considered a kind of a mid-combat surprise round, given the,
She has
narrative
a
moment.
hella high stealth roll.
A hella high stealth roll?
Yeah.
There is a reason.
Okay.
Oh no.
And yes, she does.
Yeah.
I don't like that voice. I don't like the look he gives. I don't like
No.
the smile. I don't like any of it.
You
we've been
trained us to be paranoid with her. I don't believe anything that she does or says. When she was disguised as Asum and we didn't know that it was a dragon yet, he was acting hinky in one episode, and I said, can I make an insight check? And I got somewhere in the 20s, and you came over and whispered in my ear and said, oh, he's tense from everything going on, but he checks out, and gave me the green light. And then X number of episodes later, it's fucking dragon.
Hey.
And then in the sitting room in Whitestone, Percival jumps out and fucking shanks her. She wasn't even there. So whatever she does or says, I don't care what I roll anymore. Let's see what happens.
Classic misdirection.
That's envision a world where not just your party are really good at things.
The physical episode of Talks Machina.
Exactly.
Straight up,
Yeah,
that's
no,
awesome.
green dragons are very good at a many number of skills that some of your party members are also very good at.
Math.
Probably.
I don't like her.
Not very good at Mathis, though.
Square dancing?
Square dancing? We'll see. We'll wait for Thursday.
Sonic Chalo asks, why would Raishan waste Meteor Swarm on 3 people?
Because at the moment, those are the 3 people that she really wanted to see go down.
I thought it was because it was the 3 that deserved to die.
Well, it was just a narrative fun moment. It was more of an idea of a show of power.
That achieved that.
Yeah, that was a display
I've
of...
never seen that
yeah.
before.
It was coming down to the end of the episode. It was the end of the year. It was a climactic moment. They had stepping into the lair kind of unprepared and her in a position of power, and it was a showing. Don't get me wrong. That's a powerful hand to throw, but at the same point, knowing the party's current preparation for a fire-based creature to attack, it's also not as powerful as you'd assume in that certain circumstance.
Assume?
So, oh yeah, I'm gonna still regret naming that character.
Parvon.
God damn it.
Yep.
So yeah, it was a showing of power. It was a fun climactic moment to end the year on. Nothing more than that. Trust me, she's got plenty more up her sleeve.
Oh, I bet. Sean Gilmore wants to know, any chance there's a power word death scroll laying around in that cave?
Power word death
Roll
scroll?
a perception check.
What's a power word death scroll?
Power
spell on a piece
kill,
of paper.
technically.
Technically, it's a power word kill,
I don't know
is what
that
Mac
is.
just said out loud. Hey guys.
We'll
man.
find out.
It's gonna be a hell of an episode.
I know, I'm excited. There was so much booze in the building for the Thordak fight, you would think like someone was about to confront an ex.
Technically?
Kinda.
That's a good point.
We did have some celebratory red wine, some Arkenstone red
We
wine.
did. Oh,
actually.
yeah. That wine was good.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
That was brought to us by someone better than me.
Better
I
than
make
all of
old
us.
fashions sometimes, though.
You do, and they're
Well,
good. They're
yeah.
quite good.
Yeah.
Just can't enjoy them before the show because
I put a little something extra in Sam's.
Spit.
Doesn't seem to make him funnier. Snadif wants to know, I don't know if that's right, or Snadif. It's probably not
Sure,
their
we'll go
real
with it.
name. How do you plan huge council meetings, taking into account what player characters might say?
With each NPC, I build elements of a conversation, what information they know or have to bring to the table, and what information might come up questioning from the player characters. I don't want every NPC to offer up all the information they know per se, because only some of it's pertinent to the conversation. So I make bullet points of, first off the topics they're going to bring to the table, things they want to discuss, they want to inform everybody, and then a number of things that if the players ask questions, they can respond with and that they may have more information on. And then some of it's just improvised based on my understanding of what they would or would not know. So that's about as well as you can
Yeah.
do with it. It's a lot to juggle, but if you know your NPCs well, you can kind of prepare enough to at least make it seem like you know what you're doing, which is most of dungeon mastering in general.
I will never ever forget you yes-anding a fart into a speech. Never ever.
Oh, yeah.
When Ashley hit the mic.
Yeah.
The end of a climactic arc, a heartfelt moment of Keeper Yenin
so
and
good.
Whitestone.
Oh, yeah.
Ending, that was like the fourth ending of Return of the King, I think. We were at that point in the episode,
Yeah.
and then sure enough, and I couldn't resist.
me.
I couldn't resist. It was too abrupt to not acknowledge.
It was so genuine.
I had to.
And that's one of the things that is magic about our show is because we have like heartbreaking, like touching, poignant moments and the most ridiculous shit you ever saw, like 6 inches away from each other
Yeah.
every week.
Yeah, that's kind of why I love D&D. Once a party gets comfortable and people start rolling into that realm, like there are a lot of D&D games that are just like that, and we get stories from fans in the community. Have running their own version of Vox Machina, their own crazy adventure group, just doing ridiculous shit, and then like heavy felt story moments, and it's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, it's a good balance. Unlike this show. Travis, you did not bring that with you.
Frisbee. Keep going.
It's like a golden retriever.
What surprised you the most about the Thordak battle?
I know, that was it. No. The damage, the fire damage. I think there was at one point where you were like, "That's 106 points of fire damage," and I just kind of just laughed. I didn't even think about it. That's a lot of damage to do to a group of people.
Yeah, to a 60-foot cone.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty gnarly. That was bad. And just the sheer size. Like, I hadn't had a chance to put my mini next to Thordak yet, but when you do, he doesn't even come up to his... Well, in his giant form, he's like just above ankle,
Yeah.
low shin, which is still very disheartening.
You kind of need a grid painted onto his base.
Yeah, just so you can
Practically,
get
yeah.
right up there. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty alarming. Just the
Should we
sheer
get rid
number
of this?
size
Yeah,
of
that's
numbers.
a terrible
Fuck
miniature.
No.
I think it's amazing.
No, not in like forever, but because I mean you paid like
We were gonna have it taxidermied
$6
in a
for
mod.
it. But, huh?
This was gifted.
Oh, it was a gift.
Yes.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Both of the ones.
people
one we have.
who sent Thordak.
Yes.
We gotta end the Twitch stream now,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're gonna go on to the Alpha stream for extra questions.
Gotcha.
All right.
Same cards, different questions. That's how it works.
Different language?
You just combine
We're gonna do it
words
in Latin.
from the old questions in a
Your
new.
German was really good on the Christmas thing.
Oh, Dankeschön.
Yeah, a lot of people were commenting on how, a lot of German fans were commenting on how good it was.
Ich habe 3 Jahre im Gymnasium gestudiert. I think that was right. I'm sure it sounded like a caveman, but I said something.
I have no idea how much a Cadillac costs these days.
I'm talking about your ass.
Oh, you are? Well, a lot of
Also very
people are
true.
on the internet.
Die schönste.
That's it tonight on Twitch, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Do not forget to watch Critical Role Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific time on Twitch and Alpha. Tweet us your questions during, after the show. Use the hashtag @AskTom.
Yep, good.
This year is
Fired.
going so well. Where were we? @ToxMachina is the Twitter account. This is what happens when I don't have Laura or someone on the show that gives me the evil eyes. Hashtag #AskToxMachina. We'll ask the cast on the show. That's it for Twitch. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. Don't worry, it's almost Thursday.
Yeah.
Hello, Alpha people. It's us, the same guys from the earlier show. Except now we are broadcasting just to you. Okay, we're just gonna ask a few more questions.
Let's do it.
And then that we didn't get to yet. Most of these are all right.
Get to.
Tiffany May says, Travis, older question, but what was the ride home with Laura like after Vax shaved off half of Grog's beard?
Oh,
Well,
you know,
these
things exist only in a story mode. No, it was actually fantastic. Like, well, I loved that moment so much because it just like was the next escalation of the prank war, which has been going on for like 3 years, and it was so unbeatable because in trying to get him back, I didn't realize before that it is almost impossible to get your hands on Vax. And there were so many times that I tried to do things, whether it was like pantsing him or trying to grab him or whatever, and he would just be like, whoop, uncanny dodge, uncanny dodge, uncanny dodge, and I was like, damn it. So I have to get more creative in my, and I'm not that creative as a character, so. Grog, it kind of made Grog like realize where he is in the prank war in a small sort of way. But
Yeah.
I loved it. It was just brilliant. It was so much fun.
On the flip side, Grog could murder
Mashed potatoes.
It's too
Mashed potatoes.
slippery.
If he got his hands on those mashed potatoes.
Yeah, 1 out of 10
Until then-
times, 1 out of 10 swipes.
Yeah, just one slow
Yeah.
reaction.
Yep.
One natural one is all you need.
Yeah.
You got 2 arms. Let's take one.
Pinch his
of them
neck.
away. Yeah.
Matt,
Yeah.
Al Everett is back.
Hi.
I don't know if he's asked the question before, but
Hello,
he's back now.
Welcome back.
For Matt, you've inspired a lot of new and veteran DMs, including me. Who inspires you, D&D or otherwise?
Well, Brian, you right there with that wonderful display, that ruddy display. I mean, honestly, Chris Perkins, who runs the Acquisitions Inc. games for the
Chris
PAX
Perkins is
shows,
tight.
and he's just an incredible storyteller, an incredible writer. He's an inspiration and should be an inspiration to most DMs out there anyway. He's fantastic at what he does, and having the opportunity to get to know him this past year and even collaborate in some ways has been such a gift. So he's a huge inspiration. From a storytelling standpoint, I mean, I grew up a Tolkien nut, so I'm a big fan of heavy lore.
Yeah.
Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien.
Isn't it his birthday
Maybe-
today?
Yeah,
He
he
wrote
Harry
a book
Potter.
called The Hobbit.
Isn't his birthday today?
We'll fight you. I believe it is actually. He would be what was it, like 12 and 11th
Yeah.
or something. I can't remember the actual number. But like I did a biography
about-
report.
10 years younger than Larry King is now.
Well, Larry King remembers the Crusades. So.
Yeah, seriously.
But no, like I did a biography on Tolkien when I was in school. You know, like I've always loved fantasy storytelling, and so I as far as existing people out there, I'd have to say Perkins from a DM standpoint and Tolkien from a world building storyteller standpoint.
Now, how old were you when you did the book report? If it was middle school, I'm gonna freak out.
That would have been 8th grade.
Man,
Yeah.
it was so over my head. Still is. It's okay.
My grandma read me The Lord of the Rings when I was like 8.
Read?
Yeah,
Really?
my granny,
That's
before she passed away. That was like her big. She kind of instilled with me a love of fantasy. She read me like a lot of Piers Anthony. She read me Tolkien.
When you were 8?
Montel
Oh, no, I was
Williams.
8. Yeah.
I think I was still getting read Goodnight Moon at 8.
We have a very different educational experience.
I got it.
Texas.
Did she do
Frisbee.
voices?
Yeah.
Did she do all the voices?
I mean, not as best as she could. She wasn't a performer. She was more of an artist. But
Yeah.
yeah, she kind of kickstarted a lot of this. So it's for you, Granny.
Nice.
This crazy
Granny.
existence recently.
Karbaka.
Yeah.
Matt, we know you make awesome maps. Would love to see your version of some NPCs. Do you draw?
I used to. I'm very rusty. I once fancied myself an artist.
Yeah. Do you draw? You draw.
I'm more of a fartiste.
Fuck you.
Yeah. I did. I wanted to be a comic book artist when I was 12. You know, that didn't work.
10 years ago.
See, I don't believe Matt at all. He's probably as bad of an artist as he is a cosplayer.
Yeah.
And we saw what his Witcher costume looked
Yeah.
like, which was incredible.
That's a lie.
I went to school for it. I was going to go into 2D and 3D animation all through high school. I took the studio art classes, going to go to Cal Arts, and decided last minute that animation wasn't my thing. So at that time, I was a pretty good artist, but I haven't really. And it is a skill that you have to keep up. You have to maintain practice in both musculature and movement of various materials. It's yeah, I'm far too rusty.
Yeah. You can't draw.
Yeah.
This questions got messed up, so they're all out of order. But so a bunch of them for Matt are in a row. We'll just get them out of the way, and then hopefully he can leave. Patrick Nielsen asks, Matt, how does pregnancy work in the game? These are the kind of questions you guys are going to get on the Alpha stream. How does pregnancy work in the game? Are there any checks or rolls after characters sleep with each other?
I'm gonna.
Someone just waved a white flag behind them.
Yeah, they're like, don't answer that. No.
Roll a D100.
For some people, that might be their thing. There's actually a book that exists and has been a kind of an inside joke for many years called the Book of Erotic Roleplay that we bought for a friend as a joke years ago, and me and Marisha bought for Sam this year for his
That's right.
birthday. And they have rules for that in there. They have like actual rules for that.
Whoever wrote that book is a pseudonym for Taliesin Jaffe.
Yes.
Whatever name that is bullshit.
Rearrange the letters.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, I mean, I would leave that type of a circumstance up to the players to decide as part of their narrative if they wanted to tackle that.
I mean, we're not rolling for accounting or when we take a shit for the day. I mean, it just feels like it's not the meat and potatoes of the story.
Yeah, if the two characters
Shit,
decided
meat and
as
potatoes.
Yeah, good.
I feel like there's enough challenges in the D&D world versus the challenges in the real world. I don't want to like spring an unwanted or unexpected pregnancy on two players in the middle of like an adventurous journey. That seems like a whole nother can of worms of things to consider. It could be an interesting narrative if the players wanted to take that on, but that would be a conversation you'd have with your players.
Right.
And that's kind of the, when you're crafting a story, you want to make sure that you're still building something that you all want to do together.
I think there's a cantrip for that anyway. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is.
Question for Matt and Liam from AR Rogers. Does DM planning get easier over time? As a new DM, I spend crazy amounts of time on it.
It definitely gets easier with time. It's just, you begin to find out what you enjoy about the storytelling process, what the players are receptive to, what they enjoy, what they kind of get bored with, the kind of questions they might ask and the type of ways they pursue, narrative. Are they really into storytelling, finding the puzzle and putting together the pieces, or are they more of like a straightforward kind of blunt force? And based on that experience, you learn how to tailor the story to the players, and it's less time spent having to create every possibility and more creating a more of amorphous what you think will be the possibility. You'll still be flying by the seat of your pants half the time. That's part of the thrill of being a dungeon master. But with time, you learn your process better, you get to know where your story's going better, and you get to know what the players are receptive to better. So yeah, definitely, it gets better with time.
His sideburns are so good.
I don't have an answer, but I'm nowhere. I'm not any remote orbit to
But you've
what
been
Matt
DMing
does.
for a little bit, so does it
for
get easier over time?
I mean,
or-
I think all I can say with my limited experience for little ones is that I tried to plan way too much for the first couple of games and just was like, they're never going to get to it all anyway. So I'll have 3 possible things that could happen instead of 10. Although I will say, like the one shot that I did felt easy because it was ridiculous. And then the second one I did, set in at least in your universe, I felt myself, like I was washing dishes and just like letting the water run and think, how will this connect to that? And that'll go there. And I don't know how you do it week after week because, I mean, just like, not,
Yeah.
that's in the next room.
Yeah, no, that's not me.
That was a Dyson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a handheld Dyson.
Yeah.
I mean, I just felt myself wanting to think about the story and how things made sense on a story level, not so much like what could the players run into, because what I was doing was really limited in scope, but I wanted everything to make sense story-wise. So I don't know, like you must just sit and forget you're on the toilet for an hour and just ruminate.
I have a lot of downtime, and I have a very full notepad on my iPhone. Like ideas will come to you while driving. Ideas will come to you. You just use that kind of spare time you have when you're not bombarded by other forms of media to contemplate those type of things and prepare best you can. But once again, that comes with experience too.
Were you here the night that we asked what would a Grog or a Travis run one shot look like? Would you ever run a one shot?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't. I'd let Grog run it.
You would do it as Grog?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
How are you gonna?
Grog leading a game for Vox Machina?
That
Yeah.
would be
Oh,
great.
Shit.
I'd do that.
I think we just came up with our first good idea of 2017.
That would be amazing.
See, the reason I chose Grog is that he could make mistakes almost all the time. So that would immediately transfer to any kind of a game because I couldn't be expected to run a by-the-book
Dude,
5e.
if you ran an in-game game as Grog, please invite one of my NPCs along so I can play
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
You
yeah.
guys, please.
Oh,
Heck
That would be
yeah.
amazing.
Okay.
That's ridiculously meta.
Chemo would just like scatter
Oh,
the
dude.
figures off the
Oh
table.
God, that'd be so good.
Lots of
bullshit.
Lots of fist pounding on stuff. Mitesh,
Make a sexuality check.
I shall
everything.
from the tome of Charles and Jeffy.
it's fine.
Yes. Oh, man. Oh, so bad.
Courtney just threw something in disgust. She's getting trolled in the chat.
Yeah.
Mitesh Lamba says, VM have faced some pretty big threats. Are there any the players are still terrified of facing?
I'm terrified. Liam is terrified of, I mean, Bax is too, but of Thursday. Like, there was a lot of passion after the last game. And let me just say that all the while that quick little 5 minutes was going on, in the back of my head, the whole time thinking like, this is a terrible thing you're doing. This is gonna end badly. You know, like on a gameplay, just like nuts and bolts resource management, which is what D&D is. Like we are half tapped. I mean, we have a dragon if the gnome wants to use it, and we have friends who are with us. We have things going for us, but it's not a good situation. The only reason he did it is because, I mean, she's been playing us for fools for weeks and weeks and weeks, and she's been trying. We've watched her kill scores of people right in front of us, and we know she killed Keelat's a ton of her people. She's evil with a capital E, and she's going to go on to do more evil with a capital E. And whatever the fuck it is that she's been striving towards all this time was happening in front of his face. So he'd have loved to have said, could you hold on a second while my friends come so we can talk about this or take a nap? But it was happening.
It's almost,
and why let it happen?
It's almost like Vax took an oath of vengeance or something.
My secret is I don't know what I'm doing, Brian.
Not
any time.
Do I look like someone who knows what they're doing?
Touche.
I mean, is there any chance she's not screwing us? 1%?
There are many chances. She is a slippery beast with a lot of. What is the scariest thing about a creature that you know lies that they could do?
Get out of a subpoena.
What's the second scariest thing?
I'm going to stay with the subpoena.
Tell the truth. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, we really don't know.
I say
what's
no.
coming Thursday. We really don't know.
I say you judge a tree by its fruit. And if you look at the fruit that Raishan has produced, it is not well.
That was nice.
Brian Foster.
That was good.
2017.
I learned
Get him,
from Matt
get him.
Mercer. Ooh. Smells like elderberries. Okami wants to know, what film are you most looking forward to in 2017? Mine is Blade Runner, it says.
Oh.
Are the
Dark Tower.
beat me to
Yep.
it.
He quit after the first book. You haven't read any of them. He's my friend.
It was
Read them
hard
all.
to read.
Read them all.
tough.
You shut
You got to
your
get
mouth.
through the first one, and then it's a breeze.
The first
after
one
that.
is nothing like the rest of them.
No,
The
it's
first
nothing
one
like
is
the
like
rest
an
of them.
old
Yeah, he was like
old
18
West
or
fairy
something, right?
tale,
Yeah.
19.
and
Blade Runner.
everything else is different.
What else is coming out this year? We got episode 8, obviously, of Gilmore Girls season 9.
We don't have a
Blade-
date for episode 8.
Blade Runner, the Kong movie's coming out. It's going to be in December probably, because I think they're doing a Star Wars movie like every December now. What else is coming out?
we
This
would-
year?
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2
Oh,
looks
yeah,
amazing.
That I'm
Two
looking
looks
forward
amazing.
to.
That looks really good.
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
probably my most. Just because as a person who grew up loving Spider-Man comics and have had my issues with the last 2 incarnations of the universe, like some things I liked, some things I didn't. They haven't quite gotten it right.
You didn't like emo Spider-Man 3?
Let us not talk.
Topher Grace.
Tobey Maguire was Topher Grace's Venom was so. Oh man,
Yeah, that was a big
Venom was one of my favorite villains growing up.
That was
I know,
a
like,
me too.
bummer.
He was like half my notebooks growing
Me
up were
too.
just sketches of Venom. I was like, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I've had my heart broken quite a few times with that franchise, and everything they're doing with Homecoming, the new actor who plays Peter is so good,
Yeah, he's nailed
and
it.
looks like they're doing it right. It looks like my favorite version of Peter combined
Yeah.
with my favorite version of Spider-Man, and I'm just so excited for that film. And they're not retelling the origin story. Looks like they're pulling a lot from like the Ultimates universe a little bit as far as like his
Yes.
friend circle,
Yep.
which is great. I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I can't wait. I loved him in Civil War. I thought that was a great way to introduce the character too.
Me too.
Triple X,
Good
we're
on
doing a
Sony for
Triple
doing that. Triple
Did you
X.
say the new Triple X? Well, folks,
Yeah, with
all the time
It
Travis
looks like he rides a
has.
dirt bike in the ocean. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, and you've already played D&D with him, so
Yeah.
it's your old buddy Vin, right?
That's true. Earl Davis asks, if Vox Machina eventually become gods and goddesses, what would each members be the rulers over?
Ooh, that's good. I would challenge Cord for, because he's like the god of, well, I don't actually know.
Storms and warfare, and yeah,
Yeah, that sounds pretty
strength,
good.
all those kind of fun things.
Is there like a god of babes or?
There's a god of sub sandwiches, it says here.
Oh, good. Amazing. I'll go for that.
It goes by the name Quizno.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Greek descent.
I promise next week the show will be good.
What you? What god would you?
I mean, I could be the next Dread Pirate Roberts, right?
Ooh.
Could be.
As
Yeah.
you...
As she wishes.
Okay.
Nice.
Corinne Nora Walker, to my favorite adventures. D&D for me is a great cathartic release for me and acts kind of like therapy. Is it the same for you? And if so, does it help your mental health?
Yeah, yeah. I look forward to this game before it was a show and when it was a show every week. It just let me kind of get my demons out. I mean, that's the end of my answer.
I know when
It's
we
fun.
were in New York last year, Ashley was so much happier on the nights that she got to play with you guys rather than the nights where she got to spend time with me.
Don't take it as a personal.
Yeah.
She's not watching. She doesn't have alpha.
Okay.
It's not quality, it's just quantity. You know, there's a lot of us.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
It's fun when your character, like when you respond in character. I think we've gotten to a place where like things will just happen so fast. Just the interaction, I think, is my favorite part of it. Is the things that just like happen and pop out spontaneously. That's not you think so much. I feel like early in a game because you're like, what is my character? What am I doing? And how do I respond? And you know, years later, now we're at this place where it's just like little
Yeah.
lightning
Yeah,
shots.
we're these little parallel friendships that are
Yeah.
not us exactly.
So great.
From a DM standpoint, it's interesting, and anybody out there who has been GM for games before, yeah, it's a lot of work and it's such a lot of preparation. And while it's not the same kind of, I guess you could say, a therapeutic experience from like the players, like building a camaraderie and like surmounting challenges together and problem solving, that's your guys' realm. And while there is a separation there, in some ways it's like I am jealous of some elements of that closeness you guys have built. At the same time, there's such a wonderful joy in creating something that other people then get to play in and enjoy the way you guys do. It's so fulfilling to me, and for most people out there that run games the same way, it's addictive in such a positive way that you get to create almost selflessly, just so that your friends can enjoy it together, and then play within that space with them. And so that to me is very therapeutic.
You're throwing the ultimate imagination party. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we get little sparks of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
still, like, I mean, I get, have this little, romance thing with you, but then I also hate you on other days.
Yeah.
Depending on your
Depending on who you are, what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting having your fiance in your party. Just a lot of this. But yeah, no, like, I relish in those moments that I get a chance to really kind of interact with you guys on that same level. But ultimately, it is. Yeah.
And Sentry, come on.
Yeah, no, I know. But ultimately, it's your guys' story, and I don't want to push myself too much into that because it's so magical to watch it happen in its own right, and I'm just kind of helping set the stage for it.
Sentry spin-off show.
Sentry.
Yeah.
Sentry.
Samantha Land says, question for Travis.
Yes,
Boy.
question for Travis.
Please,
Complete.
Yeah.
What would
This
you
is
like
the
to
last
say?
time-
This
This is the last time.
There's only wine about there.
This is
your
the last
platform,
time I do
Travis.
shots with Denise before the show.
Drum cube can be used to
She was
combine
like, I
shot
got you a bottle of
combinations."
Goldschlager for Christmas. And I was like, I don't celebrate Goldschlager. Question for Travis/Grog.
Dungeons and
Are
Dragons.
Grog, Kima, and Pike gym buddies when they're in Whitestone?
Oh God, I hope so. Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
totally.
Kima and Grog are totally sparring buddies, and I bet she gives just as good as she gets. Like I see many beatdowns, especially with that giant platinum greatsword, the Avenger,
Dude.
the Holy Avenger.
Can I say, by the way,
Ugh.
because like, I engineer some level of items based on, finding loot in the game, what works for the situation might be a good thing for the party to have, and then for large hordes like with Vorgal, a lot of it was also randomly rolled. So the Holy Avenger wasn't something I gave Kima, that was something that I rolled randomly and it showed up, and I was like,
Oh no
oh
kidding.
shit.
Oh, interesting.
Well, technically Vax can use it, but it doesn't really utilize his class's strengths, so if they end up giving this to Kima, I gave it to Kima. She is happy.
Yeah, she is happy. Who was the third person in that question? Kima, Grog, and
Pike.
Pike. Oh yes,
Pike.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You guys have been sparring partners for years.
Never-ending stream of mansion chicken.
Yeah,
Protein.
yeah. Tons of protein.
One bearded tall man and two small angry women just beating the shit out of each other. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
Gung.
Is there an adult that can tell me how much time we have?
I need an adult.
They cut the feed like 20 minutes ago, Brian.
It's gone.
Yeah.
I could be home playing HTC Vive right now, and instead I'm talking to you guys while we're
you
not on the
couldn't
internet.
because we can't get it to work.
Yeah, sorry.
Miles wants to know, are there any game mechanics that you preferred in Pathfinder that didn't transfer to 5e?
You didn't get it off the chair. That was
Weak sauce.
What about you guys?
If only I had a friend who was athletic. who could
mechanics
teach
that
me.
transferred.
I
That we
can't
wish it
remember
Anything
anymore.
from Pathfinder that you missed that aren't in the Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition?
I mean, I liked cleave because it moved like through one person into another, and just when I had figured that out, it got ripped from my fingers. But that's because I'm slow. Other than that, I really like 5e.
I'm blanked. I do not remember the rules of Pathfinder anymore at all.
You
Actually, I
kind of
don't
had to
either.
flush them to
I
put the
couldn't tell you
5e in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because in the first 3 months of our show on Twitch, we played more than we did in the first like
Yeah.
2 years.
I remember 5e just feeling more. There was less to keep track of.
Yeah.
And we were, I mean, it was mostly because we were together so much, you're right. But I felt like freed up to focus on the story elements of it because I wasn't tracking so many different little variables.
That's one thing I do. I do like better out. I enjoy Pathfinder tremendously. It's a great system. I think Pathfinder lends itself more to a nuts and bolts player. There's so much character customization. There's so many classes and subclasses and prestige classes and customizable feats and features that you can basically build anything you want to. There are rules for that, and I think that's really cool if you want to get really specific. But it also lends itself to more complicated characters, more complicated combat, and it works better with smaller parties. If you have a party of like 3, 4, maybe 5 adventurers, Pathfinder is totally doable. On the scale of players that we've had this whole time, it is very hard. It is a lot on the Dungeon Master to keep track of. So I would say the customization aspects of Pathfinder I think are really good for experienced nuts and bolts players. 5e I think lends itself better to newer players or players that want to focus more on the narrative than the combat-centric numbers game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Lel Doran says to Travis, do you often get frustrated playing a low intelligence character, like when you come up with an idea but can't say it because it's too smart for Grog?
That happens very rarely, actually. Not a lot of like really great ideas, and the few that I have, I accidentally blurred out, like the one with Talisman. I was like, yeah, 75%.
Percentage, I think you said.
Yeah, it's like 75%, whatever that means.
I heard in a pub once.
There were a few times where I'm like, I really want to jump in on the strategy thing, and if it goes on for a while, then I'll try and think of like the simplest way to phrase it. But I mean, in most cases, I really don't find myself wanting to or feeling the need to contribute too much because we have such great strategists in our party already.
He's being humble. I mean, Travis is who you want to be with in the apocalypse. He is a planner and gets shit done.
I eat really well. There's a lot of meat on my bones, right? I last forever.
If you can claim it.
If you can claim it.
It's interesting you say that because like when Cash rolled in and started like throwing down battle strategy, that was like that. I imagine is how you'd play with a character that wasn't constrained by the intellect. And even like when we had the Kevdak fight, you know, you showed some of Grog's wisdom and his wise side in the fact that he had survival experience. He knew how to deal with the herd. He knew how to plan for their techniques and strategies because you've been with them so long. And we got to see a different side of Grog then where you're like, okay, I'm in a place I'm comfortable strategizing, even though it wasn't, you know, extremely complicated.
Play into their prides.
Like, and that, you know, I consider intelligence and wisdom two different, you know, intelligence is book learn, it's information, it's overall knowledge you've acquired. Wisdom is your insight to the world around you and being able to kind of feel out a situation, engage circumstances on instinct, for as far as Grog's concerned. And so I think you played that pretty well.
Yeah, I think it's a good balance for me, especially someone that had never played before and is learning, like even as he takes on Paladin and taking a small class in Fighter, like I didn't know the things that Taliesin had when he started multi-classing. I mean, I'm just, you know, very slowly learning all of it, which is good because when I looked at the player's handbook the first time I saw it, I was like, this is computer programming. I don't know what's going on.
A lot of people asked if you miss Graven Edge.
Terribly. I really do. I genuinely do. I mean, Grog wanted the sword because it was the baddest motherfucking weapon on the planet. But I also, like, I wasn't ready, and it was also pre-Kevdak, right? That was the number one reason why I was like, guys, we can control the evil just until Kevdak's dead. But it was done, I mean, it was, you know, played so well by Pike and by everybody else, and the rationale was there, and, you know, it had to go. We know where it is, if we ever want to get it back. But
That's true.
I also just enjoyed the, I think he also had like a new little buddy that was just his, right? Like I think he genuinely cared about.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot of history
His own
there.
special little.
You guys
his own
went over
little
a lot of
pen pal.
stuff together.
Yeah.
Nobody else has this.
Yeah, I know. I shared him a little bit with Sam, but Sam was like, "You got to get rid of him." And I'm like, "No, I'm never sharing you again."
That's
Jeez.
how I am with my blankie.
Yeah, I have this mental image. I have this mental image of like the island out there, like the mostly destroyed island of the Dread Emperor, just rubble around it, just floating through the astral sea, and there's just Craven Edge like, jammed in the side, going, "Nobody, nobody knows but Strong Jaw."
So hungry.
So true.
Now he was cursed to the blade. Can his hunger ever become too great that he disappears?
The hell was that?
You don't know, huh?
I know.
He knows.
You do?
You don't know.
Hashtag we know.
Good deal.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight, guys. We're gonna have to go, but before we do,
Good. Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you for watching. Is this camera still on? Yeah. Thank you for watching Talks Machina, first episode of 2017.
Yeah.
My personal favorite. We'll be back next week. Thank you guys for watching on Alpha. Next week, we're going to take some questions from the Alpha chat and from the forums, I think, and stuff like that for this later enhanced Talks Machina. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out Critical Role Thursday night, 7. See you next week.
Woo!